you have to be the best at your position in order to be considered a Hall of Famer. For the record, Matthew Stafford has a losing record for his career. And there have only been 2 quarterbacks who have losing records that have been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 1 was Joe Namath with 1 Super Bowl win, Sonny Jurgensen. And he was a 1-time NFL champion. This was before the Super Bowl was created. So what makes us think that Matthew Stafford is going to just be this guy who's a first ballot Hall of Fame?
You've heard of hot takes, and you're probably tired of hearing the same old talking heads repeating the same stuff over and over again. The time has come for the game to evolve, and just like in sports, there are a select number of individuals who are leading the evolution of change and pushing the game forward. This isn't just a sports podcast. This podcast is about how life, culture, and sports all meet at one intersection. This is the new wave. This is the new sound. This is the evolution. This is the Notes by Notes podcast, where we discuss life, culture, and sports.
It is time for the Notes by Notes podcast right here on Facebook and YouTube. AP, we're back again. Another week of a fire show. What's good?
Hey, let's get it. Let's get it. So much to talk about today. So much on the menu and on the agenda. I can't wait to dive in.
Well, I mean, you sound, you know what? You sound kind of cocky today. You want to know why?
I mean, when you're, does being right make you cocky? We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I mean, always being right and stuff. Always being right. Before we get started with this edition of Notes by Notes, let me tell you about our friends over at A to Z for Skin and Hair. A to Z for Skin and Hair offers a bevy of hair and skin products that have no preservatives and are made with love, like their rice water, which is used to promote healthy, strong growth of the hair and prevent dandruff. Also, their moisturizing hair butter for everyday styling, and their rapid growth, which is a perfect mix of all natural oils. And you cannot forget about the MVP product, the Gang Gang Beard Oil, which I put on each and every day and every night and sometimes before the show. To contact A to Z for Skin and Hair to find out more about their products, give them a call at 469-674-5567. Once again, that's 469-674-5567. You know what? AP has been waiting for this opportunity to brag all week. No cap. No cap.
I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Yeah,
I said. You know what? It feels like getting a text message like at 9:45 on a Sunday right after the Super Bowl that says with the yelling emoji, I said what I said. When the game came down to literal inches. But we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that later on in the show. But who we do want to shout out, because we are introducing a new segment during this edition of Notes by Notes, is Black History Month. We're celebrating Black history. I mean, in my opinion, we should be celebrating Black history all year long. It's a celebratory thing. Most inventions have came from Black people. So we should be celebrating 365 days a year. But, of course, they give us the month. So we're going to celebrate Black History Month on Notes by Notes. And we are going to talk about a very interesting story. And this person was actually suggested by one of the followers on or someone who watches and listens to the show. And their name is Rory Miller. And when she sent this over to me, AP, and she was like, yo, you need to talk about this guy because this story is very, very interesting. So to start off the show today, we are going to do our Notes by Notes Black History Spotlight on Battling Sickie. I think that's how you pronounce it. Siki? Siki. So Battling Siki was born into the port of St. Louis, French Senegal. And as a teenager, I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that. Cliff notes here. But this guy was actually one of the first black champions, world champions in sports. And he served in the military during World War I. And after that, he took up an interest in boxing. And from 1919 to 1922 AP, this cat had 43 wins in 46 bouts and had 21 knockouts.
Cold-blooded.
Knocking dudes out. Knocking those down.
I watched some of the footage, man, and he was, I mean, he didn't have like your nowadays like boxer stance.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like slugging, like just kind of like. I mean, it was interesting to watch, but I mean, yeah, he was definitely a GOAT. 21 knockouts, and I saw how he was doing it.
Yeah. It's crazy to look back at that moment in history and just see how. I mean, we think about these athletes like Muhammad Ali, and we think about Michael Jordan. We think about all of these great athletes, these black athletes, that we remember because of recency bias. Mm-hmm. But if we go back, we've been being great forever.
Back in the gap.
And this is just proof of that. But Siki went on to fight Georges Carpenter for the World Light Heavyweight Championship in 1922. And in that fight, he actually had an agreement to throw that said fight. And Siki did not go down without a fight. Siki did not throw the fight. He won the fight by knockout. And he went down in history as one of the first champions, black champions in the world. The unfortunate part about it, on December 15th, 1925, he was stopped by a policeman who saw him staggering down the street. Of course, he was inebriated based off of what the police report said. Allegedly. And they said that Siki stated that he was on his way home and he walked off. Later, they found Siki shot twice in the back and at close range, and he died at the young age of 28. He was initially buried at Flushing Cemetery in an unmarked grave to show you how much they truly cared about him. Sarcasm there. A headstone was dedicated there by the International Veterans Boxing Association. A guy by the name of Cherish Jingo, first consul at the Senegalese mission to the United Nations, stated that this stone represents to us a grand symbol that Battling Siki has not been forgotten. His body was repatriated to Senegal in 1993. So, very, very interesting, powerful story, AP.
That is, man. It's sad and it's awesome at the same time. You know, I think that's part of why Black history is so important. Mm-hmm. It's so polarizing on both ends. You know, that we have come so far and things have been, you know, so much progression as a people, and at the same time, all the growth is rooted in so much turmoil. But that's why we here. That's why we still here. We still shining. We still winning. And we've been doing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, we did more than just figured out what to do with the peanut.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's just one of many inventions that we have created as a people. So, I mean, to me, what this story is about is you see this young man, he gets to a point in his life to where he is the greatest in the world in his sport. And unfortunately, his greatness is cut down. And no one knows what happened to him. No one knows. Mm-hmm. And that's the unfortunate part. It's very sad to think about. But that's why we honor people like Battling Siki. His name was Louis Fall, but he went down in history as Battling Siki. So, Rory Miller, we appreciate you for passing along that story. It was fun doing research on this story. It was a great story to read, and it was also a somber story to read as well. But we appreciate your suggestion for this edition of Notes by Notes. So, AP,
what's good?
Do we have some in the bag today?
Something in the bag. Something in the bag.
Hey.
Yes, of course. We do have some mailbag submissions, so it's mail time. All right, let's take a look here and see what we got today. All right, so Renee from Austin wants to know, what do we think of the Sydney Carter situation? And by the Sydney Carter situation, we're talking about Coach Sydney Carter of women's basketball, who has been stepping on folks' necks with the fashion. They want her to dumb it down, to, uncute herself, unprissy herself.
Be basic.
Be basic.
Like everybody else.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Thank you.
But she has been out here shining, stepping.
Yeah.
Every game. What do we think about that, Jay?
AB, what I think about it is, number one, I can't believe the outrage. I just can't believe it. Number one, it's 2022. 2022. There should not be an issue. There should not be an issue whatsoever with a female coach wanting to wear what they want to wear.
Absolutely.
Period. I mean, as long as it's not something that is offending someone else. I mean, that's just bottom line to me. If it's not offending, that's it. If it's not offending anyone, if it hasn't done anything to you personally, if it's not in bad taste, what's the problem? Like, truly, what is the problem?
What I love most about it is that the outfit they criticized was, I want to say something that the whole team was wearing pink. It was like kind of like a I don't know the actual game that this whole conversation started on, but I know that everyone had on like the pink shoes, and she had wore all pink head to toe, and she wore kind of like a, I don't know, I would call it pleather.
Yeah.
Like a pleather pants with a pink top, and that's where it began. But what I love about it, what I love so much about her response to this is basically, oh, you thought you were mad? I'm going to give you a reason to be mad.
Oh, yeah.
And she has since, she stepped out in dresses. She wears high heels. She's a symbol of femininity on the basketball court. And as an ex-basketball player, don't go looking me up, Googling me. I ain't nobody. I just played for a little high school in Texas, and that was pretty much it. But, honestly, I grew up in basketball. I know tons of people in basketball, and there is a stigma, of what women basketball players are supposed to appear as, or what people think of them to be, what I mean? In terms of just more trying to find appropriate words to use, but not as feminine presenting. They want them to show up on the court rough and rugged and ready to ball, and then there's all this stigma that goes with it. But I think that she is dispelling that. She's dispelling that understanding of what women basketball looks like, and I love it. Pantsuit Nation. Women don't have to be in pantsuits.
Yeah.
Let them be feminine. Let them throw on their heels, show some ankle. You know what I'm saying? She's not showing cleavage or anything like that. But if the clothes fit, that's somebody else's problem for being offended. It's not hers, and it's not her problem. She's running a team, Texas A&M. Shout out to them, and I just really hope that she keep stepping on these folks' necks.
Hell yeah. Step on their neck, Sydney. Step on their neck.
Show out, sis.
Show out. What else is in the bag, AP?
All right, thanks again, Renee. We appreciate your submission. All right, we got Tony from Colleen who wants to know, what do we make of the Sha'Carri Richardson situation? And I want to say that we're referring to the Sha'Carri Richardson comparison situation with the Russian figure skater that has been caught doping. And I say caught doping loosely because it is alleged. He was. She tested positive, but it's neither here nor there.
It could be alleged all day. I mean, the fact of the matter is they have insight and they have an accusation. What happened to Sha'Carri Richardson when they had insight?
30 days suspended.
30 days suspended. So regardless, in my opinion, of what they say that they have, regardless of that, she should still serve the penalty. She should not be competing right now in the Olympics, period. She should not have competed in the Olympics, period. She should have been expelled just like Sha'Carri Richardson was.
Yeah, I 10,000% agree. And I just, I just want to stick to standards. When everything happened with Sha'Carri and there was no discussions of appeals, no discussions of, people trying, like, she literally got drugged for being the best at what she does and then testing positive after qualifying for marijuana, which is not a list of it's not on their list of, I guess, restricted drugs or banned drugs or something like that. It's just an illegal substance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a performance enhancing drug. What I don't want to mess her name up. Kamila Valieva. She was actually taking drugs that would have enhanced her performance. They were heart medication that does help to increase stamina.
Oh, wow.
And as a figure skater, that is definitely like that's clutch. To have more stamina, to have that edge up. I mean, at the end of the day, today, she placed 4th in her event, and, she broke down crying. And I think a lot of what's keeping her afloat right now is that she's a 15-year-old little girl, and they're saying that basically it wasn't on her. Like, it's not on her. But how long do you think she was suspended?
Not a damn day.
Not a day. She tested positive. She got suspended. The suspension was lifted the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, less than 24 hours if you're confused on how long a day is. Less than a day in comparison to Sha'Carri Richardson's 30-day suspension that she wasn't able to practice or do anything with the Olympics, and she was not able to compete during that time at all. Even while this young lady is facing an appeal, she's been able to compete, and now guess what? The events are over.
Yeah, they are. So, I mean, she's not going to receive any punishment whatsoever for the things that she was accused of. I mean, maybe she might not get a chance to qualify for the next Olympics, which is in 2026, but that's kind of like a long shot here. I mean, 4 years from now, saying that someone's not going to get an opportunity and they got the opportunity to compete this year, I highly doubt that's going to happen in 2026. But I just think that it contradicts itself. I think that Sha'Carri Richardson definitely should have had an opportunity to showcase what type of athlete she was, especially in light of this recent situation. It just kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the Notes by Notes Black History Spotlight. We only get so long to be great.
That's real right there.
We only have so much time to be great. The reason being is because most of the time when we are competing with white counterparts, Brian Flores, another person who comes to mind. We talked about him last week on the show. We have to work so much harder just to sustain success. Nothing is given. I get it. You may say, oh, it's not given to me either. I earn it. But let me just tell you, the road is much bumpier when you're in shoes like ours or Sha'Carri Richardson or Brian Flores. It's the truth. because now we actually have true data. I mean, the Brian Flores thing with the NFL, we already had data, but the same thing keeps on resonating in what we experience every single day. So if that is the case, then something must be wrong with the system.
Absolutely. I'm going to just read what Sha'Carri tweeted today. She put, can we get a solid answer on the difference of her situation and mine? My mother died and I can't run and was also favored to place top 3. The only difference I see is I'm a black young lady. And then she followed that up with it's all in the skin. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's about a 5-year difference between Camilla and Sha'Carri. Camilla's definitely a lot younger. But I there was just a completely different standard. And I mean, my heart goes out to Sha'Carri just because of what she went through this past year, and having to sit here and watch this play out for somebody else so completely differently. Man, it's got to be a slap in the face. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that tweet because, man, do better, people.
Got to. You got to do better. And also, I love you listeners. We got 2 mailbag submissions this week. You got to do better.
Pick it up.
We want some more because we want to answer all your insights. We want to answer all your questions that you may have for the show. We want to interact with you at any given moment that we can. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate Renee and Tony for their notes by notes, what's in the bag submissions.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. All right, AP. So this is, I guess, the theme of the season 3, is Jay admitting how damn wrong he was.
Bum, bum, bum.
Breaking news.
This just in. So of course you know who won the Super Bowl unless you've been living under a rock. And you know, if you watch the show, who we picked on Sunday to win that game. I picked the Bengals. AP picked the Rams. And actually, it's kind of like she has some foresight here. Like, she's been predicting stuff all season long. Like, Odell Beckham, touchdown in the first half. He would have glowed up. He would have been the unsung hero.
Tutty in the first half. He would have. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in the second half. Sad thing.
That's horrible for him.
Wishing him, Odell Beckham Jr., a speedy recovery in this, in this game, because he's already came back twice.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and God willing, he's able to put in the work, the rehab, and he's back playing very, very soon. But let's get off all that sentimental mess. All that sentimental. So the Rams won the Super Bowl, defeating the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, they did.
And it was one of my favorite Super Bowl watches.
Yeah, it was a good game
that I can remember in a very, very long time. And it was all about entertainment. But a guy who showed out in the first half and when it was clutch time, it was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was named the Super Bowl 56 MVP. He had 8 receptions for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. This cat put up one of the greatest postseasons for a receiver in the NFL ever. He recorded 33 catches, 478 yards, and 6 touchdowns in this postseason alone. And could we possibly say that this was one of the best postseason performances by a single player ever in NFL history?
Yeah. I mean, it's easily said. I mean, stats don't lie. Numbers don't lie. I want to say that the only record he did not break was, I forgot who holds it. I don't want to be wrong, but I'm not going to throw it out there. I don't want to be wrong, but the only record he didn't break is the amount of touchdowns that he had for the season. He ended, I want to say, at 22.
I think it was 21 or 22 touchdowns.
And I think the record is 23. But every single wide receiver record in terms of yards, in terms of receptions. He shattered them.
Yeah.
I mean, and not by a little. I think that he did like 2,000 something. I mean, for the total season, he did like 2,000 something yards, and I mean, it's just, ridiculous what he managed to do. And then the postseason alone, with those numbers that you just said, completely abolished anybody else who's ever been there before. So hands down, Kupp, you runneth over, my boy.
Oh, that's a good one, AP.
The Kupp runneth over.
The Kupp runneth over. So for perspective here, for perspective's sake, the top 5 receiving, or the top 5 players with the top 5 players with the most receiving yards in NFL playoff history. Sorry, y'all, it's Friday night. You're watching this on Saturday, but we record this on Friday, so excuse me, okay? Give me a break here, all right? It's been a long week. I'm trying to get to the weekend like y'all, sitting here watching the show, drinking your coffee at 10 a.m., chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be like y'all. But the leaders in that category would be Jerry Rice with 29 games, and he had 2,245 receiving yards. Julian Edelman with 19 postseason games with 1,442 receiving yards. Rob Gronkowski, 22 games, 1,389 receiving yards. Michael Irving, 16 games, 1,315 receiving yards. And Cliff Branch, 22 games, 1,289 receiving yards. Don't y'all know that Cooper Kupp has already eclipsed about 40% of these numbers here? If the target number was Cliff Branch, if the target number for postseason receiving yards was Cliff Branch, Cooper Kupp would have already achieved about 40% of his current numbers. Mm-hmm. It's almost half. I don't know what else to say about that. For him, to me, he was the reason why the Rams got as far as they got. I mean, if you go back to the Tampa Bay game, the last play, or the second to last play of that game, Matthew Stafford throws a bomb over the middle. Cooper Kupp, wide open, clutch catch, lines up, kicks the field goal, going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Before that, monster game against, who did they play? It was the Arizona Cardinals. Monster game. Mm-hmm. And get this, the most interesting thing out of all of this is that Cooper Kupp, this was his first full postseason that he got to play in.
Yeah.
Outside of his rookie year. Insane in the membrane.
Absolutely. I mean, the performance this season for him, this postseason specifically, he did not tether. He didn't filter off going into the postseason. He was just as explosive as he'd been the entire season, and he just actually took it up a notch in the postseason, as he should. Uh-huh. I mean, realistically, that combination, had Stafford not had a Cooper Kupp in this game, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't be so gloating. I wouldn't be so boastful. We would not be having this conversation if the Rams did not have a Cooper Kupp.
She did that before the show. So she's not keeping that same energy right now. That, you know what I'm saying?
I don't have to remain boastful. I did my bragging already. I said what I said when I said it.
You know what? I'm going to screenshot this text and I'm going to put it on. Y'all are going to see this text. Literally 9:45 on Sunday. As soon as the clock hit 0, I said what I said.
I just wanted to make sure he heard me, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what he get for basing his predictions off cartoon characters.
That was not the case. I prefaced my pick was not because of The Simpsons.
The Homer said it though. It gotta be right.
I wasn't even talking. You see how they try to misconstrue and take your words and twist them around and. You know what? AP got me this time. You got me this time, AP. I can't deny it.
Just this one. So
I appreciate that. It.
I want to say pride. You don't want to with me.
All right. So big news hit outside of, the Rams winning the Super Bowl, they've already done their parade. But right before the game, Rodney Harrison, former Pro Bowl safety, Super Bowl champion, on the NBC broadcast stated that he spoke with Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald actually contemplated retirement prior to the Super Bowl and also throughout the season. And he did say, Aaron Donald himself did say that he did talk with his teammates, and everybody was all bought in on winning this Super Bowl specifically, not for Matthew Stafford, for Aaron Donald. And we're at a point now, AP, with professional athletes. These young professional athletes are much smarter than your grandpa's favorite athlete. No, I mean, honestly, I don't even mean to be derogatory towards them. Yeah. What I mean, money wise, what, and also health wise, what's smarter for me, health wise and money wise, financially. But also, I can't blame, the older players for doing what they did, because the safety wasn't great back in the day. Hell, you still have players trying to sue the NFL for, concussions and all that stuff. So, I mean, all of the resources met the time. Now, the players are creating the resources.
Absolutely.
So, Aaron Donald saying, hey, I played 8 years. I'm 30 years old. I still got the rest of my life ahead of me. I've signed a couple of extensions. What is wrong with me saying I want to walk away from this game and riding into the sunset as a champion?
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't either. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I actually give credit to Aaron Donald for having the courage to say that, because not a lot of players would actually do that. Some of them would actually play until they're no good. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady went out, even though he lost in the playoffs, still leads the league in Super Bowls forever. Still, all these records and history and all that stuff behind Tom Brady's name now is completely different. Right. But with Aaron Donald, just based off of what we have seen for 8 years straight, we know how much of a menace he has been for so long.
Yeah.
He doesn't really need many more Super Bowl rings to solidify his place in Canton. And the reason why I say this, here's a comp for Aaron Donald. Everybody loved Warren Sapp. Honestly, I think Warren Sapp was one of the first defensive tackles I ever saw run a sub 4.6 40. Crazy. So here's Aaron Donald's career stats. 4-time defensive player of the year, 441 combined tackles, 285 solo tackles, 98 sacks, 16 passes deflected, and 23 forced fumbles. In comparison to Warren Sapp, who is a Hall of Famer, who was inducted in 2013, Warren Sapp was a one-time defensive player of the year, 569 tackles, 96.5 sacks, 91 tackles for loss, 21 passes defensed, and 19 forced fumbles. Aaron Donald is a Hall of Famer.
Already.
He doesn't need anything else. Warren Sapp won one ring and put up this stat line. And he got into the Hall of Fame 5 years after he retired, I believe. Yeah, 5 years after he retired. Or I think he missed he got in second year that he was eligible. Mm-hmm. But if he's already met the criteria, especially when we're talking about probably recently one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL in Warren Sapp, and he's beating his numbers, 150 tackles for loss compared to 91 tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
23 forced fumbles compared to 19. And get this.
13 seasons compared to his 8.
13 seasons to 8. Phenomenal. Aaron Donald, shoe in. Should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely see, you know, and I was actually surprised. Like throughout the game, like when it came down to it, I was unsure who the MVP was going to be. It literally could have been between him or Kupp. I mean, they technically just shared the MVP for that game.
Yeah.
Because without one or the other, we would not have won, or I say we, but the Rams would not have won.
Yeah.
Not after losing, 3 valuable players in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Even Matthew Stafford was injured and pulled his bootstraps up and went out there to keep playing. But had he not had the defensive prowess of Aaron Donald, and I mean, you mentioned some good stats, but he's been a defensive player of the year since his rookie year. He was the rookie defensive player of the year as well. He's 7-time Pro Bowler as well.
Give me some.
There you go. he got several All-Pro nods as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so literally when we talk about the resume, the boy is booked and busy.
Bad.
He's booked and busy, and he's doing good. I mean, and we called him 30. He's not 30 till May.
Yeah.
Or did he just turn 30? No, I don't think his birthday is 1991.
1992, I think. He's 1992. I looked him up today. I was like, oh, he's 2 years younger than me.
Yeah, I feel like he's not even 30 yet. I don't know why I feel that way. But either way it goes, he's young.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when you talk about football players, young is relative. But he has the rest of his life. I mean, he's 30.
Yeah.
If he can retire now with his experience, I say do it. I mean, you got a family, you know what I mean? You want to be alive to see your kids grow up and be able to do stuff with them. You got endorsements. I mean, I'm all for it. I believe in player health and player, mental health. And I mean, what he's done, he doesn't have to continue to prove that he can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he got the ring. He's been to the Super Bowl before. I mean, I think he's done it. He did what needed to be done.
Yeah, facts. 100%. There's not much more that he would need to do, in order to increase his Hall of Fame stock. Now, when we're talking about this player, who is a teammate of Aaron Donald, who I believe people are smoking on that joint, that Matthew Stafford joint, that Stafford pack. The reason why I say that is because now he won a Super Bowl. Everybody's saying, oh, he should be a Hall of Famer. The difference, and I've been holding this in all damn week, AP, all week. The difference between Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford is the fact that Aaron Donald has been the best. Yeah. The absolute best at his position. Top 5, it wavered sometimes. There were some players in you could say, like Christopher, what's his name? Christian Jones, who plays for the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Chandler Jones this year too. There's been some Michael Parsons. There's been some players in there that you could argue, oh man, but no, Aaron Donald has been the best defensive player in the NFL for 8 seasons. Mm-hmm. When was Matthew Stafford the best? Even top 5.
Maybe college. Maybe high school, college.
I ain't gonna lie. Growing up in Dallas, he went to Highland Park High School. Hearing about him, reading about him in the paper, seeing some of the things that he did on some of those spotlight highlights that they had, after those Friday night games was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was great. But let's slow down a little bit. Like Von Miller, Hall of Famer. Why? Best at his position most of his career. Mm-hmm. He's probably still 3-4 right now, but best in his position. When we talk about Hall of Fame, we talk about best in the class at what you do. Period.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, well, he couldn't win in Detroit because he didn't have a defense and he didn't have this. And great players figure it out to be the best at their position. So what? You don't have the best team. But what? So you're probably wondering what happened and why you just saw that glitch transition. Because your boy just spilled his drink. And it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. So we just had a good laugh about it. But to continue on to the topic, you have to be the best at your position in order to be considered a Hall of Famer. Any person that was inducted into the Hall of Fame has always been, or at least at their first ballot. Second ballot, too, you can make an argument that they weren't necessarily the best. Maybe they were the second best. But once you retire, like Peyton Manning, in 2 years, dude's going to be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? So, for the record, Matthew Stafford has a losing record for his career. And there have only been 2 quarterbacks who have losing records that have been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 1 was Joe Namath with 1 Super Bowl win. He won the first Super Bowl. No, excuse me, like the second one or the third. I don't want to go into history right now. And Sonny Jurgensen, and he was a one-time NFL champion. This was before the Super Bowl was created. So what makes us think that Matthew Stafford is going to just be this guy who's a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'm done, AP. I'm finished.
I agree, though. I mean, you made some valid points. You made some very valid points. I'm going to go on record saying that Matthew Stafford was not even the best quarterback going into the Super Bowl. He was not the best quarterback during that game. By all intents and purposes, the Bengals should have won.
Yeah.
They literally should have won. And at this point, you know, we really can see that talented, yeah. But, I mean, Matthew Stafford, I don't know how many seasons he's had in the league, or 13 seasons in the league. I mean, he's approaching the latter half of his employment. I don't know.
Facts.
He would literally need to get another Super Bowl win and have an extremely good season, in my opinion, to even be considered for the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. You got to get yourself another ring, and you got to do something notable. He has not done any. He doesn't have anything notable this season.
Yeah.
And prior to this season, I don't believe. I mean, he hasn't been a part of my vocabulary prior to this season.
Well, that's the thing. Even with this season, it was like a season of roller coasters. It wasn't his greatest season. He threw 17 interceptions.
Not the best.
Like, let's be real here. 41 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. That's a good touchdown to interception ratio, but he still threw 17 interceptions. And the guy's only thrown less than 10 interceptions twice in his career. I don't know of any Hall of Fame quarterback with that type of stat line that, you know, it's just there are questions surrounding it. I think we should be open to it, but I also think that the reason why everybody is reacting this way, AP, is because he just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come, man, look, you can be happy. He won a Super Bowl. I think everybody's happy for Matthew Stafford. I'm not saying I'm not happy for Matthew Stafford, but what I am saying is he should meet the criteria that the greats have met before him. And if he hasn't, he needs to build a resume. He's like LeBron before he went to Miami. Oh, he's the greatest. He's better than Michael. And then it's like, no, the dude needs rings. He needs rings. Point blank, period.
You need people to get rings. And Matthew Stafford, you had the people. But without the people, I don't know where I don't know. He wasn't connected nowhere else. That's the problem for me. He couldn't connect anywhere else. And it bothered me. It bothered me so much to see him struggle so deeply with
Megatron and all of those some of those good teams in Detroit.
He had great options. He just couldn't connect. And keep going, Matt.
And you know what?
Rooting for you.
Everybody's like, he didn't have a team. And I'm like, you know what? The Detroit Lions were a pass interference call on Anthony Hitchens, who played for the Cowboys, away from winning a playoff game. Mm-hmm. Don't give me no excuse. Yeah. Like, the great ones get it done, and that's what it just comes down to. He got it done this year. Let's see if he can do it again. Run it back. They said it at the parade. Run it back. Run it back. Well, run it back.
I want to see him do it without Donald.
With who? Without who?
I want to see if he can do it without Donald. If Donald does retire and he doesn't choose to stay with
and I ask again, without who?
I don't know.
They ain't winning no Super Bowl without Aaron Donald. Period.
I mean, it's just that one piece. That one piece is going to break down the entire everything they build. I mean, you can switch him out, but I don't think. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with the best offensive player and the best defensive player in the league.
There's literally footage of this dude tackling two people in college at one time.
That's Grizzly.
Come here. Like,
get over here.
Get over here. Well, there was also that story earlier last year, I think, where he knocked this cat out in a bar. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you for fighting Aaron Donald?
That was him. I forgot all about that.
Like, bruh, you don't do that. Yeah, he's 6 foot, but do you see how he's built? He's built like he's built like a muscle. Like, his body type is muscle.
That boy built like a bicep.
He built like a calf muscle.
It's the one muscle.
The one that has the you know what it's called. Man, I'm when you get a really bad cramp.
Oh, like a shin splint or a Charlie horse?
Charlie horse. God dang, man.
Boy,
Fridays.
It's
been
like
a long
Charlie
week.
Horse.
All right, y'all. So, once again, thank you guys so much for rocking with us on Notes by Notes. It's been a great, great show. But we're crossing over into the NBA season. And also, college basketball is a prime time watch now. So, it's only right. It's only right that your favorite person on the show, AP, gives you her top 5 teams right now in the NBA. AP, take it away.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Hello, basketball. Goodbye, pigskin. JK, we all love a little foodie ball, but I'm here for the ballers and the shot callers. So let's get into it. So right now, top 5 teams in the NBA. We're gonna go 5 up. All right. So we're gonna start with the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks right now sitting at a comfortable number 5. Right now they're looking at about 35 and 22. As you guys remember, I said Milwaukee Bucks. They're gonna continue their run from last season, and they're gonna at least be in the playoffs. They haven't been firing on all cylinders as they were last year, but this is how they started out last year. They didn't go into the playoffs being number 1. They ended up there when they got there. So we still got hope for the Bucks. We got the Miami Heat, 37 and 20. They doing their thing. Not much to report. They doing all right, but they doing their thing. We got my very own Memphis Grizzlies. Them young boys, I mean, just phenomenal to watch. If you have not caught a Memphis Grizzlies game, please record, set your DVR. If you want to see some fire, win or lose, you're gonna get a show. I'm trying to get home just so I can catch an in-person game before the season ends, before they go into the playoffs, because I just watching it on TV isn't enough for me. But right now they're sitting at 40 and 18. They're doing their thing as well. Right above them, the incomparable, the win again, comeback kids. Golden State Warriors, GS Dub, Curry, Clay, back in the sleigh, Draymond. They got a unit, and for the first time in 2 years, or since the last 2 years, they are back in the running for playoff contention. And last year, Steph got them to the wild card game by his lonesome. So
That's
now
so
we
true.
got the squizzard bizarre. We got the squad.
Side tech.
Players have the squad that they need to get the job done, and I mean, as long as they all stay healthy, you will see the Warriors. If they, I'm gonna say we're gonna see them for sure in the semifinals. We're gonna see them there for sure, and I'm betting that they can go to the finals as well. I really think we're gonna see them there. But just to play it close, I'm just gonna say they're going the distance in the playoffs. Put your money on that. No changes there. Your number one team in the NBA right now, the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns. They coming out the mud. We in Texas, we getting this cold weather. Out there in Phoenix, it don't get cold. They stay hot, baby.
Ice in their veins.
They stay hot, baby. And guess what? Booker is back.
Oh.
Your boy Devin Booker, say what you want about him, but right now he's playing elite basketball. He's back on his ones and twos. He's hitting it with the and he's giving some good basketball. He's definitely pulling his Phoenix Suns to the top of the crop. 46-10 is what they're looking at. So I don't know how this is going to go, but right now we're in All-Star Weekend. This is a pivotal moment in the NBA. The players get a chance to let off a ton of steam as we roll fast speed ahead for the next month or so. We try to lock in these last few minute brackets to go into the playoffs in earlier mid-April. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We will keep you posted on all there is to know about the N to the B to the Izzy. Okay?
AP just smoke that shit. Lungs all heavy shit now.
You
know
so
what I'm saying?
stupid.
Oh, I love that. That was a great top 5 right there.
I got excited, man. I got excited.
Give me some though.
Thank you.
That's dope. You know
Thanks,
what?
bruv.
I can't lie. You said something about Devin Booker. I think people have forgotten how great and how special this young man is at the game of basketball.
He came when he was a rookie. He was what?
What? Well, last year, I just think about last year, and get this. I covered the Mavericks last year, so I got to see a lot of it firsthand. But when they played Phoenix the first time, it came down to the wire. Mavericks come down, score, tie up the game, right? Or I think go up by 1 or either tie the game. Final play, final shot of the game goes to Book. Screen down, Book rolls up on the top, like right on the arc. Right underneath the arc. He shoots it, spots up, through the net, game over. I was like, this kid is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look, next MVP of the NBA, 100% Devin Booker. Next Kobe-like player in the NBA.
Ooh, them is big shoes.
No gas.
Those big shoes, Jay. Those big shoes.
Early Kobe does things like Devin Booker.
I feel you. Now, I do want to put a caveat in here. I know we're running for time, but the one team, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm not too happy about not seeing up here, y'all know I've been trying to get them boys up there, but the Charlotte Hornets, they're not in the top right now.
What happened to
But they are still such an exciting team to watch. So I still see a lot of good things for them. This may not be the year, but man, if they keep that unit together, like they gonna be cold. They gonna be super cold. But right now, they're just doing like Harlem Globetrotter type stuff, and that's their specialty.
Well, they're similar to the Grizzlies in Ja's rookie year and his second year, where the team is just so young and new coaches here and new owners there, and it's just a lot of chaos within that franchise. I mean, MJ does still own the team, but also when you have youthful players and they're coming in at the same time, it takes so long to truly build some chemistry here. You know what I mean? So it just takes a while to do that. So I really think that the Hornets will come around. I think they're like the next big thing if LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges can gel. PJ Williams, I believe, Not Tucker. Big man from Kentucky. I can't remember his name ever.
Don't make me lie to you.
Number 25. But he was great at Kentucky too. So, I promise you, I do watch basketball. Sometimes names just slip my mind.
Don't get me lying on nobody's name. It's too many players in all of these leagues. Okay, okay.
All right, y'all. Well, we are rounding the bases on the show. We appreciate you guys for catching up with us on this beautiful Saturday morning. We hope that you had a nice cup of coffee or two, had some breakfast, enjoyed your family while watching this program. But we do have a announcement. This is the first announcement of many. Just stay tuned because they're going to be hidden. We just need you guys to watch the show so that way you can hear these type of announcements. So just like the Notes by Notes Fantasy League, we did our first one ever this past season in football. We are going to do our first ever Notes by Notes bracket challenge for March Madness. And I am still determining the specifics on what prizes will be, what is needed, all of that stuff. But come March, we will have our first ever Notes by Notes bracket challenge. So you got to stay tuned for that. Outside of that, big time shout out to A to Z for skin and hair. We definitely appreciate them for being our sponsor and for hooking us up with some of their great products as well. Big time shout out to Rory Miller for her submission. Also, Renee and Tony for their submissions today. AP, what you got? You got anything?
I've got nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Utilize that thumb. Tap in with us. Okay? Like, follow, subscribe, share.
Share. We got some special things in the works and we want you guys to be a part of it. If you haven't done so, like AP said, please subscribe, follow, share, and tell your family and friends about us. That's it from us right here in the Notes by Notes studios. We are out of here. We will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Peace.